Test. Test. Oh, that should be muted. Yeah, I think I fixed that. And this is intentional, this speaking. It won't be long. Greg's just having some PC problems, so bear with us, please. Yeah, Kim, it was my voice. I was trying to sort all this OBS out because it's just a mess. I need to completely redo it. So, yeah, I think I've sussed it now, though. I'm just waiting for Greg and his potato PC. How are you feeling, Kim? Are you feeling any better? Right, okay. Right. I'm hoping this is going to work. I've sussed out how to do the sound effects through my PC so you can hear them. Oh, let me mute the fucking stream. Right, this is going to be a bit... What? Yeah. Oh, I didn't do titles. No, shit.
Alright, hang on, I got you.
Alright. I'm very rusty at this.
That's okay, so, this is one of those things.
Fucking Stream Deck keeps going to sleep.
Update title, 767. Update all. Alright. We should be golden. I see starting soon, so yeah, we're
right.
good.
Here we go. Alright, hang on. Let me get my finger on the knob. Here we go. Hopefully you'll hear this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all are listening to the Overseas Connection podcast.
Shut up and sit down.
Here we go!
Would you kindly?
I think we're just getting started.
Medic! I'm a witcher.
I think this is more than you can handle.
He sits on his ass all day.
Let's do this.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning into episode 767 of the Overseas Connection podcast. Today, January 14th, 2024. God, I still had 23 in the show notes. That's the way this day has been. We're getting a little bit of a late start, but not too bad. A couple technical errors, including my PC taking forever to load up because I had to restart it. I think that means it's going to be time for a new PC this year. Anyway, hey, if you are listening, welcome. If you're watching us live, welcome again. We do this every Sunday, 8 p.m. in the UK, our new starting time, 3 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 p.m. on the West Coast, in the Central Time Zone. And, thanks, Razer, for fucking up my screen. Razer, yeah. They everybody wanted to do an install update. This was the hang up I had today. So anyway, we do it 12 p.m. on the West Coast. And we do it on Twitch. We do it on YouTube. We also have the audio version, of course, for you to download and hang out listening to it while you're maybe grooving to the oldies, trying to do some exercising. All right. On the show this week, this is the important bits. It's just myself and Mark. Mark.
Hello, Greg. Hello, everyone. Yes, 3 weeks on the trot. Must be something going
saying,
on there. Yeah.
Back of the fire, baby.
Yeah.
Kim Woods was going to try and make the show, and then she thought better of it because she is not feeling great. So we hope she gets well soon.
Yeah. I hate migraines.
Robin is playing Mrs. Doubtfire right now, so missing in action. That's okay. It's family time. He has to take care of the kids while his wife is away. And Pete is somewhere out in the ocean floating about. We're not sure. We have not heard from him in a while, so we're fearful that the Titanic may have happened to his ship.
The last rumor was there was a canal stuck in a lock system on the Birmingham Canal, and apparently that was Pete.
I had heard a different news story that he was in danger of running aground. He needed to make 5 miles an hour north, and
but his boat could only do 4, so he's screwed, didn't he?
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Hey, we got a show today. We're going to talk some stuff. We're going to talk about kind of reflecting back on 2023, what we liked, what maybe we didn't like, in terms of games. We will talk a little bit of news. There's some news coming up, so we'll talk about that as well. But in the meantime, to start things off, Mark, why don't we do some story time, and then I'm going to quickly shut my door while we play that jingle.
All right.
Everyone here loves story time, our favorite time of the day.
Jingle done. By the way, did you hear the intro, Greg?
All right.
All right. Did you hear the intro at the beginning, by the way?
I heard nothing because I walked away from my computer, Mark. I was running to close my door.
Yeah. No, I mean at the beginning with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I heard it at first, and then it cut out on me.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
I might
so,
not turn the dial all the way up then.
You know what? I hate when you don't turn the dial all the way
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah,
It really is.
turn the knob too much.
You
Never
know,
a good
you
thing.
can't. You got to be careful of turning the knob too
Yeah,
much.
Yeah, yeah. Just ask Robin.
All right, Mark. What's been going on with you this past week?
So, I've done a Kim. I bought some PC games. I went on to CD Keys to get some more Game Pass Ultimate. So I bought 3 months worth of Game Pass Ultimate for £25,
Okay.
which is a good saving because it's $12.99 a month via the Xbox auto recurring payment thing.
Right.
But while I was on there, I thought, oh, now I've got a new shiny PC. I'll have a look at all the PC games. There are frigging shitloads of cheap PC games on CD Keys, and I'm talking thousands, hundreds of pages with 100 on each page. So I searched for £10 and under, and a shitload came up too. But two what stuck out to me was Tropico 6. Now I like these type of strategy games, and this is you're a dictator in on this island. And I've played one of the earlier Tropicos. I think it was Tropico 3. I know it's a fill game. So it was £1.97, I think it was. So I thought I'll have that. And then I saw a game I've played on the Xbox, which was on Game Pass, called Hardspace Shipbreaker. Remember that, Greg?
Yeah.
Where you float around and you break up a ship and have to send it to the relevant furnaces and that.
Yeah, I ultimately wasn't crazy about that just because it was work. I
Yeah.
don't look, Power Washing Simulator. It was fun for a little bit, but then it's it's just a job. You're doing a job, and honestly, I play games to get away from doing jobs. So
yeah, well, I found it quite relaxing to play that, and I take the timer off and everything, so there's no pressure on me. But with the PC version, I think the controls are quite a lot easier using the mouse and keyboard rather than the controller trying to think so. And it looks really nice. So I think that were about £3 or £4, so I got that as well. So yeah, I've not really played. Well, I haven't even started up Tropico. I played the intro to Hardspace just to see what it was like. And yeah, it's really good. So yeah, bought them. My webcam brackets came what Kim recommended, so I've got them up now, but I think I've put them a bit too high because I'm right down here. So I've got the 2 webcams. So there's one for Skype, what you see me on, which is that one, and then I've got the one for OBS, which everyone else can see me on that one. But yeah, I think I might have to lower them. So that's more holes in my wall I'm going to have to fill. But yeah, it's a lot better because before there was on my monitors, and the monitor, I've got a new monitor set up with a new PC, and they were way too close to me. It's you don't want to see me close up, no. And finally, TV program wise, so in anticipation for season 4 of The Boys on Amazon, that superhero fantastic series, which is unbelievable what they get away with. I just love that series. There's a spin-off called Gen V.
Yes, Gen V.
Yeah, Womble mentioned it in one of the chats. I think it was on Discord. And I've seen it on Amazon Prime, but I didn't think much of it. I thought the spin-off would be rubbish. But Womble says, give it a go. First episode, oh my fucking God, I am hooked. So we're 2 episodes in now. Oh my. So you remember Termite in season 3, Herogasm?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
more or less.
there's some, not similar to that, but there's a lass who can shrink herself. And first episode.
Right.
I'm not saying no more. You just got to watch it. It's
Well,
unbelievable.
My
wife
one
was
thing I struggle
gobsmacked.
with The Boys, and obviously it'll be with this series as well, and that is sometimes I feel like they're doing these things
Just for shock value?
for the sake of being outlandish.
Yeah.
But I think the general premise of The Boys is good enough to stand on its own without needing to do kind of the gimmicky,
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, we're watching that now. So that's really good. I haven't seen this week's Reacher yet, so I don't know if that's any good. I don't know if you've seen that.
What episode are you on?
The last one I saw was last week's, where that warehouse blew up, where the fort that guy was in.
Okay.
And then the guy escaped in the helicopter. Terminator Man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I finished up Reacher, and unless they are
Is that
releasing
the
more
last episode?
episodes, that's my thing. So
All right. Fucking hell.
right now, I don't see any other episodes released on it, and it's been out for a while, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's done. And I also finished up Ashoka on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, I've got that on my watch list. I still haven't
And
seen
I gotta
Kenobi. Or...
Here's my gripe: both are like cliffhanger finishes.
Yeah,
They
I get
don't
that.
resolve kind of the actual storyline, and it frustrates me. So, I enjoyed what I saw of Reacher. I enjoyed what I saw of Ashoka. I would have liked some kind of actual like resolution as opposed to the open-ended kind of it's not literally saying to be continued, but it might as well have said to be
Yeah.
continued.
But they've started doing that with movies now, aren't they, as well? They've done it with Fast X. It just cuts off and you have to wait till 2025 for the next movie. They did it with the latest Mission Impossible. They've done it with Rebel Moon on Netflix. You got to wait. Imagine at least Rebel
I
Moon.
still haven't seen Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
It's still on my to-do list.
Yeah.
And I think part of it also was I knew that was going to be a multi-movie project.
Yeah.
But also the middling reviews coming back in definitely didn't put it on my I must see it now list.
But at least with Rebel Moon, we only have to wait till April for the next one.
Okay, good.
What else is it? What else? That's it for me.
Okay, all right.
Busy week at work. A lot of rusty old vans and fucking coming home knackered as usual. But yeah.
And yes, Kim, nobody wants a frustrated Greg. Nobody. Speaking of frustrations, dealing with Social Security Department, beyond frustrated, trying to help my mom sort things out with my dad passing and dealing with Social Security checks. And in essence, when a spouse passes, Social Security will allow the surviving spouse to claim whatever's the larger Social Security check. So my dad, his Social Security check was higher, and so we called Social Security asking them, hey, he received a check in basically the last part was for his December payment, but of course he had passed right at the end of December on December 27th, and so it was, I think, January 10th that the check had been technically deposited into his account, although it hit actually January 8th. Weird timing. But anyway, we called and said, hey, should we hold off on doing anything with that, or can we use it? And they said, no, it's okay. Go ahead. Usually it takes, 2 to 4 weeks for the changeover to happen, and you should be okay. Lo and behold, I get a notification on my parents' account reclaiming check. I'm like, what the hell? So in a nutshell, they moved faster than this employee thought they would, and it just created a massive headache for me to have to deal with in terms of just navigating, making sure funds were in the account because they were now pulling funds back, all that good stuff.
Someone is at the front doorbell.
Uh-oh.
Alexa. I've been waiting all day for a new headset 'cause this lead on this one's a bit dodgy. The sound keeps going off. And Amazon, 20 past 8 at night, Amazon finally turn up.
Someone's at the front door.
Yeah.
They're in the house, Mark. They're in the house.
Yeah.
Fantasy football wrapped up. And the Social Security stuff, just to put a bow on that. It's all sorted, but it just is a pain in the ass. And it bugs me to no end that somebody would just give out advice that just wasn't right.
Yeah.
Especially around stuff like that. Fantasy football has wrapped up. One league I did not win. Gary Di Felice was in the running to win that league, but he lost.
All right.
So I just like to rub that in. And then the league that Gary runs, I won.
All right.
And so yeah, so
Voting
that was
on
kind of
the Garcast one. Is that
Yes.
the same one? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I saw that they've done sign-ups for the next one.
Yeah. So the fantasy league, it's called Marvel, and what's kind of funny is all the different team names are different Marvel superhero characters. So you'll see Captain America, and my team is Deadpool.
All right.
And so I just my team picture is Deadpool giving the middle finger. I felt that was appropriate.
Yeah.
I got a notice for jury duty, Mark. Do you
Oh.
guys ever have to do this?
We do. We can get called up at any time. I've not been called up. My mum's been. She found it quite interesting. I'd like to do it, to be honest, but yeah, I've never been called up.
So, in theory, I'd like to do it, but the realities are jury duty. You don't really get paid all that much. I mean, it's like $10 a day.
Right. All right. No, we get whatever our wages, I think.
Yeah,
They
that
cover your
seems
wage,
far
plus
more
you-
reasonable.
Yeah, and you get travelling allowances and that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, some of them can be really boring. Sometimes you can be sat there all day and not even get a case.
No, exactly.
But my mum had some
So-
good cases.
I got the notice for jury duty, but here's the benefits. Again, I always say my son Colin pays his way, and so I reached out to his doctor and said, "Hey, I need a note for jury duty to get out of it." And sure enough, doctor had no problem giving it to me.
Right.
So when you have a special needs son, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
So, I will pass on jury duty. Although, in fairness, I actually have sat in on a jury. I have done jury duty. I was in a week-long trial for a drug deal. Basically, they had arrested a guy that had a bunch of drug paraphernalia in a storage unit, and as well as I think it was at the time, it might have been. I'm trying to remember the drug of choice that he had. It was a powder form. Anyway, needless to say, he was trying to claim it was personal use and that he wasn't selling, because that was the big sticking point. Selling, you're going to get a lot more years on your sentence versus just use.
There's possession of an intent to supply. Yeah.
But he had scales. He,
yeah.
weight
and all
scales,
the little dealer
the,
bags.
packaging.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we more or less convicted him and sent him to jail.
When my mum did it, she said one of the jury members fell asleep, nodded off, all right, and the judge stopped the whole court, right, and wouldn't allow anyone to wake this person up, and they just waited till this guy woke up, right, and then he fined him for every minute he was asleep.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Damn.
Contempt of court.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Well, let me just turn my camera off.
Yeah, you're on 360, aren't you? He's going in and out and moving
It's
around
all
with your head.
wee. I keep forgetting. Anytime I start using my hands, I can, because it uses hand gestures to turn on the camera. And anyway. Hey, Lord, in the chat, I want to give him a shout out, and Kim too. Why not?
She says disabilities for the win.
Yes. Let me tell you, they do indeed pay their way. We had Joysticks and Chill. I think they were in there as well.
Yeah. They're supposed to be going live tonight for the first time since May last year. So, shock horror, we might be getting a podcast from them guys.
That would be shocking. Welcomed.
But they're having technical difficulties as well.
Since we're chatting away and talking story time, why don't we bring up, I know there were a couple of Discord questions that got thrown out to us, and I thought they were some pretty good questions.
Yeah, well, I did make a category on the show notes after games play, but we'll do them now if you want. I can move on.
Yeah, why not?
Right,
Let's do them now.
So we've got two questions. I thought I'd steal a bit of an idea from the Seal guys and request questions for the show each week. So we've got one from Lord, and he's put, I have a quick question. What was your biggest regret in gaming? It can be anything from something you didn't buy or a game you never completed or anything like that. I've actually thought about this a little bit. I've made some notes.
Okay.
Do you want me to go first?
I will let you start.
Right.
I'm thinking through this.
Right. Well, my biggest regret is actually buying so many games, and when a new game comes out, going, oh, I love that, or even cheap games on sale, and not finishing them or not even bloody starting them. So I have got a huge pile of shame, and my biggest regret is not getting through that pile of shame. But
no, okay.
I don't have many other regrets in gaming, really.
Let's
Endor.
dissect this regret of yours, Mark, because you literally just went on to CD Keys and bought a bunch of
exactly.
games.
And when am I going to get to play Tropico 6? And for about a year, I was doing the Humble Bundle every month, getting a load of games from that. And I had that many games, I couldn't even give them away. I was trying to give codes away on the podcast, wasn't I? Like a year or 2 years ago. You just can't give them away. It's just so many games.
It is an interesting question. I mean, I suppose Pile of Shame is certainly a regret. Although I like to dabble in a lot of games, and
Yeah.
so I will just like fire up a game, dabble a little bit, and check it out.
Yeah.
If it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's time for
Um,
me. It's just for time.
Regrets. I think one of my regrets, and it's hard to classify it as a regret, but it's something that I as a video game podcaster, I probably could be better at. And that is just embracing Nintendo. I just have never got on with Nintendo,
No.
but it's a hugely popular platform, and I just can't. And I had a Nintendo NES back in the day, and I played on that, but I've just it's always a direction I'm just not crazy about. And then there's one, every once in a while you see a game that comes out and you're like, oh, that's really great. I wouldn't mind playing that game, but it's on the Nintendo platform. But getting into that whole ecosystem just feels daunting at this point. And I know it's not really, but it's just not something I want to do
No.
at the end of the day.
I'm the same. I've never owned anything Nintendo apart from a DS Lite many years ago. But yeah, no, I've never got into the Nintendo stuff. And I've always been tempted, but I just know I won't get to play it. Because, like, I've got the PC, I've got the PS5, Xbox One X, Series X, sorry. And I don't have time to do them. Like, in theory, I could just do with one machine, and then I'm not giving myself that much choice and
Right.
limiting myself. But, no, you don't do that, do you?
One, I think I'm starting to regret my association with Kim. She slanders us in the chat. But yeah, no. So I guess the Nintendo thing, that would be kind of one of my regrets. I think a regret from this past year, and we'll talk about it in some respects because we're going to talk about the games that we played and enjoyed from 2023. But that is not getting Alan Wake 2. I think it's a game
Yeah.
I'll like when I do
Yeah.
eventually get it and play it.
Well, I wasn't a big fan of Alan Wake 1, but all the reviews and people's ravings on Alan Wake 2, I'm tempted to give it a go now. Hopefully it
Yeah.
might come to Game Pass.
Let's hope.
Mhm.
So I think just the lack of embracing of Nintendo from my perspective is probably my one regret, but I can't really call it a regret other than it's just something that I kind of think about maybe I should have done or should do at some point, and I just can't bring myself to do it.
I have another sort of slightly gaming-related regret, and that is being off a podcast for a year. But I did need to take some time out and sort out my mental health, and with changing jobs and stuff and my workload, we started going to bed a lot early now. So this 8 p.m. start for me is so much better because like we're used to being in bed at 10:30. So yeah. So
Well,
that's
and
another
interesting though,
regret.
this transitions nicely to the next question.
Yeah, so this one's from John Wilson from Joysticks and Chill. If you haven't heard of them, don't worry about it because we all haven't because they never fucking podcast. His question is, what's the hardest thing about podcasting?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one because I think it boils down to two. Well, for me, it's two different areas. One, I think, just having the wherewithal on the tech side is in just keeping up with kind of making sure the podcast runs smoothly, and God knows we struggle with that at times. So I think that's one aspect of it. But I think that probably the biggest challenge with podcasting, and I mean, I take some pride in this, but it is keeping up the energy in having the energy for a weekly podcast if you're doing it, or just whatever your frequency is, but being determined to carry through.
Yeah.
And one of the things about this podcast, which I kind of always knew, because we wanted it to be more than just one voice. We wanted it to be a community of voices, and so it was all about making sure we had enough people that even once we had moments where people couldn't make the podcast because their personal lives get in the way, that we at least had one or two that could still make the podcast and create something that could be heard for the community. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges, the consistency. That's where I was going with all of this, is consistency of doing it whatever your timing is, if it's every 2 weeks or every week, making sure you're putting something out on a consistent basis. And again, there are times where we'll put out an early podcast. We'll kind of shift gears a little bit and be like, hey, we're all not going to make Sunday, but maybe we do something on Friday. It's just a random one-off. But even that is part of being consistent. It's just ensuring that you're putting something out there so people can know they can count on the podcast to be there. So
did you hear that, John?
That's
consistency. Yeah. So yeah, mine are more on a personal level. Mine's more about being a bit self-conscious and not having as much confidence. Like Robin has got so much self-confidence and is an extrovert. I'm an introvert. So and I know Kim was the same, and she's come out of her shell a lot. She's doing so good on this podcast now as Kim. But yeah, I'm just more conscious of my image and my just how I conduct myself on the podcast, how I speak, and my accent. I hate my accent. I hate my Yorkshire accent. I don't know why. So yeah, just like self-consciousness really. Time is the other factor, that's why I've had a break. So yeah, those are the two for me. Oh, I love you too, Kim.
Yeah. Well, look, we are excited that Kim came out of the closet and has blossomed.
Yeah.
That's been fun to watch.
This show's done wonders for my self-confidence and that. So it has helped me. If you compare the early shows, when I've set the computer out, I found some old recordings, and on the YouTube there's videos going back like 7 or 8 years of us, and it's unbelievable some of the stuff what we were doing.
I still remember back in the day when it was more of an audio version podcast and hearing Richard Primrose snoring on the podcast was just his classic moment.
And the sleeping bag rustling.
Oh God, yeah. And then to find out he literally at one point duct taped his headset to his head.
yeah.
But yeah, we've had some characters in the over the years, but consistency. Interestingly, for the self-confidence thing, it's been a windfall for me having been on the podcast and doing it for as long as I had. When I started this, the job that I'm in currently, a lot of what I do is video meetings, and a lot of people are very nervous about that. I took to it like a duck in water. It was just like, yeah, no, that's not a problem. I can do a video meeting. And then conducting webinars is another thing that you can get nervous about because, with my work, those webinars, you're live and you're going to have, a lot of people listening at, live during that. And again, not something that's a problem for me.
But like you and Robin both do like presentations for clients, don't you? So you're used to a little bit of public speaking, but like for me and Kim, we'd never done all like that. Well, I hadn't. So it has been daunting, but yeah, I'm a lot better now at it. So. I still feel like sometimes I'll come off after the show and I'll think, fucking hell, I did shit tonight. Oh, I could have done better.
Well, if it makes you feel better, we think the same thing.
Chris and Rob have just jumped in the chat.
Oh, God.
Rob's put the boys, the two noobs. He's right there. I am a big noob. We've been playing some PUBG lately. And...
Good Lord. Snoogans. Or Snuggins, as I called him the other day. That was, I think that's how he should change his name to Snuggins.
He actually mentioned that. Did you see what Greg called me?
Did you ever hear the Snuggie?
Yeah, the blanket thing with a hood and that. No?
Yeah, it was the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I bet comfortable as hell.
Well, this morning I asked him what Snoogans actually meant, where the origin of his gamer tag. So, yeah, it's interesting.
I'm not sure I want to know.
Oh, it's from Jay and Silent Bob the movie.
Oh, okay, all right.
So yeah, it's got
how do we watch now?
It's got quite a rude connotation to it.
Yes. All right. Well, I think that about covers everything. And great questions again. Thank you to John and to Lord for submitting those questions. We encourage it. Submit on Discord. It's the future.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not soon.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that.
Foreshadowing. Yeah.
All right. Let's dive into games, Mark. Let's talk about some games.
games. Where's that?
It's game time.
Yeah, I feel like playing computer games.
It's game time.
That's one of those funny things. The jingles fade out on me. So I'm
Right.
like, is it over? I think it's over. Yeah.
Did it fade out on you again?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's okay.
That's your end then. It's got to be your end.
Why are you always trying to blame me? Just because I had a major PC
Well,
snafu
since it
before
took
we
like
started up.
15 minutes for you to fire up Skype.
Yeah. Let's to recap. Computer, for whatever reason, sometimes I'll I rarely shut my PC down. I just leave it running, and sometimes I put it into sleep mode. And every once in a while, when I do that, when I come back and I try and go, because normally I don't use headset audio. I just have the audio playing through my speakers on the PC. Every once in a while, the headset audio won't come back. It's like it's selected headphones, and it should be, but it's not select. So I have to reboot the PC, and that just becomes a nightmarish wait because my PC. This is an older PC, close to its death knell now, and it has a mechanical hard drive. It doesn't have an SSD hard drive in it, and no, I can't upgrade it to an SSD drive. That's one of the problems with this particular PC I bought, because it's a slimline PC. But anyway. First world problems. I will be getting a new PC at some point this year. Shout out to Christopher Matthew. Speaking of people formerly on the podcast in the chat. Okay,
One of the
Mark.
OGs, yeah. Yes, right. What we do now? Games played. Right.
Yes.
So I've been doing a few PC games. We did the Friday night session.
Yes.
Snoogans was there. Rob, who's in the chat now. And Martin was in the Discord chat as well, but he had to sort his kids out and he was on Xbox. But me and Snoogans we've bought Lethal Company on PC, and we've both been wanting to play it, and we haven't yet, so we gave that a try. And I recorded it, and I've uploaded the footage to YouTube. Oh my god, this game is hilarious.
Okay, I just need to point something out here. So I saw Lethal Company, video posting, and I was like kind of excited because I was like, what a great name for the new Friday night podcast crew, the Lethal Company. Like we have the Bad Bunny Men on our Wednesday night Halo nights.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Lethal Company. That's okay. You guys are, being smart. No, it's the game.
The game, yeah.
And I just want to say this right now. Lethal Company does not look great.
Oh no, do you know how big the download is? 236 megs.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
that explains
tiny,
a lot.
and it's made by one guy. But it's the gameplay. It's just hilarious. So, right, the premise of it is you work for the company, right? And so you have this little ship, and you land on these various randomly generated moons, and you have to get salvage. And this salvage is worth a certain amount, and you've got 3 days to get this salvage and meet a quota. So I think the first quota you have is 129 credits. And if you cash it all in on day 1, you only get a certain percentage of that. Cash it in on day 2, you get a little bit more. And if you wait till day 3, you get the most value for it. And you have to fly to the company's depot on the last day and hand it all in, which was an experience in itself. But you're not alone on these moons. There are various creatures and nasties, and there's a lot of darkness, as you can see on the screen. So it's advisable to buy a torch, or as you guys call it, a flashlight.
Right.
But
not a flashlight. Flashlight.
Flashlight, something Robin buys. But you only have a certain amount of credits yourself to buy things with. And if you've no money, you are pretty much screwed like we were here. The creatures in this, we haven't seen them all yet, and so what we have seen are terrifying. Apart from there's one of them is just a blob that rolls around really slowly after you. But I had a slow, painful death because I got stuck in a dead end. The blob was coming down a staircase. I had nowhere to go, and I just had to wait for this blob to finally consume me. But there's also trip mines, which we didn't know. We're picking up stuff, and Rob says, "Oh, there's a wheel there. Go pick that wheel up." Went over to it, touched it, boom, we're both dead. And as soon as both you die, the ship takes off and leaves you behind. Um,
Kind of
if-
reminds me of when I picked up C4 in PUBG, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I threw it down, and Rob's like, "Run away!"
yeah.
Yeah.
If you do die, you can find the person's body and recover the body back to the ship, and it doesn't cost you as much to resurrect you for the next day, which Rob has done. It's in the video if you watch that. He carries my body, and he's just pissing himself laughing all the way, carrying me back. When you get to the stairs, right, you can't go up and down stairs carrying things, so he just throws me off the cliff, down to the bottom, and goes down the stairs, picks me up again. It's so funny when he's saying, "Oh, I'm going to have to give you mouth to mouth and all this." But yeah, it's so funny.
right.
Some of the monsters give you jump scares. There's quite a bit of screaming in this. I do scream like a girl when I'm surprised.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say in the game or by you.
In the game by us,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's just hilarious. There's such a blast on it, and I think you can have up to 4 players on this. So if
Lethal
anyone
Company.
has got Lethal Company, or if you haven't got it, it's only £8. It's
right.
excuse me, it's early access, so it's nice and cheap. It's a small download. You can run it on a potato PC, Greg.
Which is fortunate for me.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just hilarious. So if you want to play this, pop it in the Friday night play date group on the Discords and just put it as a suggestion, and we'll play it one Friday night.
Okay.
All
right. Real quick, to sidetrack us a little bit. One, it still looks like shit. I will probably pick it up though, just to entertain you and Snuggins.
Yeah.
But there was a question that came up, and Christopher Matthew asked it, and I thought it was actually kind of an interesting question. And the question is, how much thought do you give to your background now that everything is video? And that's an interesting question on multiple fronts, because one, obviously for the podcast, I don't really necessarily think about it, but my office, when it is going to be set, it's not set up yet. I still have boxes freaking everywhere. I do try and set up my office to be kind of themed, and this way, when we're podcasting, it kind of presents itself nicely.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but work-wise, that's an interesting one, because I get on my work calls, and what I used to not really care so much, but what I've found myself doing of late is I do the slight blur of the background. And I find that better than trying to do the fake green screen effect, because I hate that. I think it always makes you look odd, because it cuts part of your hair out, or your ears get cut off, and then you're just looking odd on camera. But the slight blurring of the background actually seems to be kind of the best of both worlds. And so I like doing that, just because you never know when somebody's going to see something in the background, especially in a work environment where they might, just be slightly put off to it. And in part of my job is sales. And so it's like, I never want to create some weird bias with somebody, but they see something on my wall. Maybe they're not maybe they're a Raiders fan and they hate the Chargers, and they see a Chargers helmet on my wall. That's just one of those odd things. So yeah. What about you, Mark? Any thoughts as I look at your background and judge you?
No, not really. No. I do have the option to have a green screen put up if I want. I've got the hooks in the ceiling, but I've just never used it. So yeah, like I say, you can always blur it if you want. I am bothered.
Yeah.
On the side note, I do remember quite recently there was a live BBC news broadcast one night, and they were interviewing this guy. I think he was in China or Hong Kong somewhere. All right, and then but his kid came in the room and started messing about, and you saw his nanny come in, crawl round, and try and drag the kid out. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I have.
It's quite a famous clip. Yeah. So.
And that's the other kind of aspect to just work environments. Be careful what happens when your screen is on, right? We've countless stories of that stuff happening.
There's one guy who gets the old tissues ready and the lubrication. I won't say no more.
Yep.
He thinks his camera's off.
The other thing which is odd for me now is almost every meeting I go into where I set up a conference call meeting, I come into it with my camera on, and it's still kind of funny because a lot of people, they still don't like putting their cameras on. Yeah. And to me, I just feel like at this point, it's almost kind of like a rude practice if I set up a video conference call, the expectation is that we're going to be face to face in some fashion or another, as opposed to, just having some, name on screen. But anyway, so good question, Mr. Matthew. All right.
Next game, or do you want to do one?
Yeah, next game.
Straight after Leave for Company, Snuggins, or Snuggins as you call them, sort of like got me to fire up PUBG on PC. Now,
yes,
I haven't played PUBG on PC since 2018, something like that, a long time ago. When it first came out, I bought it and I played with Chinny and Fraser and a few guys. I think, didn't you play it on PC originally, Greg?
I've had it on PC for the longest time, but no, I think I originally played it on the Xbox.
Yeah. So it's been a long time since I played on PC. So I've totally got used to the controller system and everything on playing this game. I will say it does look so much better on PC. I didn't think it would, with it being on the X and S and the PS5, but yeah, it looks a lot better. Depending on obviously your PC, but the draw distances and the loadings and just the colour and the graphical fidelity, it's a lot better. Mouse and keyboard, it didn't take me that long to sort of get the hang of it. I'm still not 100% with which key does which. I keep saying to Snoog, how do you do the lean? How do you do this? But yeah, Snoogan's taught me through best way to do the toggling of the lean and the aim down sights. And yeah, I soon got the hang of it. I even got a few kills, which surprised me. We did do the casual mode, just to ease me into it. But yeah, it was really good. We did come across some good players as well, and I did actually kill a real player, so I was quite happy with that.
All right.
PUBG on the PC, and then we did it again at 11 o'clock this morning because Snuggins was.
Unfortunately, Snuggins has never offered to give me some tips and tricks on the PC side.
He's saying if you do get your new PC,
he's lying.
No. He was saying as soon as you get your new PC, we're gonna get you on PUBG PC. So
he just wants everybody to play on PC because he likes to oddly strike the WASD keys.
Yeah. But we've talked a lot about PUBG over the years, so I don't think there's anything new to say. They do still keep supporting it and updating it. The store system and the skins and that is still confusing as hell. I still don't know how to get stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that is probably the worst UI for any kind of live service game ever. It is absolutely just It makes no sense.
And then
they've got crafting keys.
Yeah.
And it's like
you got contraband tokens and all this crap.
Yeah.
And then you can dismantle stuff and yet you play Fortnite and it's so easy how they do it, and probably that's why they make a lot more money on it.
Yeah. So I really do want to go in and play Fortnite no build mode.
Yes,
I do think I would enjoy that.
I quite enjoy it no build. So while we were playing PUBG, we were in the new It's a Future Discord chat, and in pops Gary, the real Devo. Yeah. So after we finished our 3 games of casual on PUBG, we initiated Snoogans into the world of Hunt Showdown. Yeah. So Hunt Showdown, I've mentioned this a few times. It's a extraction shooter with PvP and PvE. You go kill a boss. You collect clues to find the boss, and when you kill the boss, it drops 2 bounty tokens. You pick one of them up and you extract. But
and it's set in an Old West setting.
Yes.
So
yeah,
West.
You got revolvers,
but there's
Winchesters.
like monsters in the Old West.
Yeah. But there are other teams out to do the same. So they can. There's a lot of tactics to this. You can either kill the boss, get the bounty, get out, or you can sit in wait and let someone kill the boss, get the bounty, and then you kill them and nick the bounty off them. There's a lot of different ways to play this game. And we had a lot of fun. Snoogans got used to it pretty quickly. He's good at shooters anyway, so he got a couple of kills. We all did. Sadly, my gameplay didn't record for some reason on OBS last night. I did a session this afternoon with Jay and Gary, and I've recorded that. I've just not edited yet. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. You've played, haven't you, Greg? You know the audio in this game is second to none. It's all about the audio. And Snoogans got shot, and he went, "Fuck it, I want that," because it made him jump. The bang, and he was dead. It was just me and Gary just killing ourselves laughing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got some bounties. We got extracted. Snogan had his first bounties, and
right.
we did really well. So yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah. So this is another game that if anyone ever wants to play Hunt Showdown, I've got it on PS5 so I can play cross console, and I've got it on PC so I will play this anytime because I love this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah. So that's me.
Hunt the Showdown for the win, and the PC Masturbate race, according to Rob, is the main. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim, yes, still flaccid. I still haven't bothered fixing it. All right. Real short for me. Halo Wednesday nights had a blast. Ironically, Discord was the future in this moment because I fired up the Series X and started up a party, and I wasn't connecting, and I needed to test this out because I'm not sure what was going on, but I couldn't connect up to a party. And then we ended up utilizing, instead of the Xbox chat, we ended up using Discord, and it worked perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So Discord, indeed, the future for the moment. And I played a little more Sifu, but we don't need to talk about that. Halo just, there's something about that game, and they've been supporting it so well. It still is a blast. We had some great sessions.
Yeah.
And so it started off rough, and then we finished on a high note, and that was kind of that's all that matters. Finish on the winning note. Rob was kind of bringing the team down, and Lewis carried the weight. Martin and I also, put in the effort, and Rob was kind of sloughing off. But what do you expect? He was, doing his own thing.
So you got any further with Sifu then?
No, I have not. I dabbled a little bit, but it was literally like about 20 minutes of gameplay, and then I had to bounce off from it. So still enjoying it though.
Yeah.
I still very much like this game. I just love the premise in this notion of you die and come back and you age a year.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I'm starting to see my character start, like the visual aging is happening now.
Yeah.
Like the first 5 years or so that you age, you don't really see any differences. So yeah.
Yeah, I need to download this. It does look good. It looks interesting.
Kim's chiming in saying Discord also works well for Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mentioned this last week. So Boomer and Kim are on Xbox, and they play with Sarah at RCGC. She's on PlayStation.
Yeah.
And the in-game chat on Call of Duty is very spotty. And they use Discord. Kim's created their own COD channel now in the chat section. Works great. Yeah, absolutely great. I popped in to say hello to them the other day. So yeah.
And that's the thing is, and I think this is why Discord is such a great tool, especially cross-platform, is that you want to be able to have when you're in a party, just having the chat stay consistently on, and it's one of the nice things about the Xbox chat, in terms of games on Xbox, it's like you can continue the chat. So like if you're in a loading screen, you're still talking, you're not getting cut out. That's one of the things like the Call of Duty chat. It's great in that it'll work cross-platform, but it sucks in that in the moment you hit a loading screen, everybody goes quiet. You can't hear anything, and then whatever you were saying gets lost.
Yeah.
So, Discord indeed, Mark, has kind of proven to be somewhat of the future.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that pushes us into some news. What do you think?
Yeah, if I can figure out how to do the jingle, just bear with me a minute.
Here is the fucking news.
All right, Mark. Now that we've established Discord is the future, sadly, Discord is laying off 17% of its workforce.
Yep.
I saw this news story and I thought, I got to bring this up. So yeah, Discord is laying off 170 employees, or around 70% of its workforce. And this is per an announcement from the CEO on Thursday. Jason Citron, who is the CEO, said in an internal memo that was obtained by The Verge that the cuts were being made to sharpen our focus and improve the way we work together to bring more agility to our organization. This decision was not taken lightly, but it is one that we have conviction in to better serve our users, our business, and our mission over the long term. Now, that is all code word for we aren't making enough money,
No.
so we had to cut
All
cut
they
expenses.
have to do is change their Nitro top tier from $10 or pounds to $5, and more people will buy it. Simple as that. You might not seem to be making as much, but if more people buy it, then you're going to make more. Like I got the basic Nitro just for our server, just to help with a few things, and it were only a couple of quid a month, but I paid it over. It was £25 for a year, so I didn't mind that. But I am paying like 120 quid for the big Nitro Nitro thing, and all it gives you is extra download and upload features, bandwidth, and it also gives you a better bitrate for streaming. So it's a bit of a con, really.
But if you think about Discord and you think about the platform, they are in a bit of a conundrum in that just being a communications only type platform, they are really sectioned off in gaming. So they don't have the ability, you're not seeing Discord in the business world. So it's very much gaming related.
Yeah, there are a few Discord servers which aren't for gaming, but they are for different industries. But nothing sort of like formal and mainstream, I don't think.
Let me just put it this way: Zoom and Teams are eating their lunch.
Yeah.
So
Teams is part of Microsoft, so you can understand how they can swallow the loss. But I don't know, is Zoom part of a big organization? How do they make money?
No, I think they well ultimately it's a subscription.
Oh, right, okay.
So, but they I think they really made their mark from COVID.
Yeah.
Because they really became a de facto easy to use, and that's the other thing. It's easy to use, but it is also very straightforward. A meeting platform, whereas Discord, I don't know that they know who they are.
Yeah.
Are they, a video game audio channel platform, or are they a forum platform?
Yeah.
They're a bit of both.
I'm going to say they're a mixture of both, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I know that, I've never used Zoom, so I can't comment on Zoom, but I know years ago on PC, when Hardly Dan was part of the Gamesman and everything, they used to use TeamSpeak. Remember TeamSpeak?
Yeah.
And that was the predominantly best way as a PC gamer to chat with your friends when you're playing online. And then Discord came along, and you don't even hear of TeamSpeak anymore. I don't even know if that's still a thing. And Discord took over, and it was the future. Back in 2016 when it came out, I predicted it. But like you say, they haven't monetized. I think the Nitro thing's only quite recent, isn't it? I'm not sure.
I believe so.
Yeah. So whether they start doing a subscription service soon, I don't know, because I think TeamSpeak you had to pay for that, didn't you, for certain qualities? Yeah. So yeah.
Now I do laugh also as we're talking about Discord being the future, and yet we're still using Skype.
I know, because I think we're the only ones who do. I think it's you use what you're used to, don't you? What you seem to trust. Because I know the SEAL guys use Discord for their.
Yeah, I think we could eventually switch over at some point. It's just we need that push. Who knows? Maybe the future is happening.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they did have the layoffs. I don't think it's going to kill the company. I think that ultimately, though,
it's just a money saving thing, isn't it?
100%.
Yeah. I remember just last night, after I finished playing with Rob and Gary, my lad Jay was just playing with randoms on PUBG. And he was in Discord, so we started chatting, and he went, "Well, do you want to watch me gameplay?" And on Discord, in the chat channel, you can stream your game, and it doesn't take much resources. So he popped it up on the screen. I was just watching him play, no lag or anything, and it was just good to watch. You know what I mean? It's like watching Twitch, but it was my son, sort of like 5 miles away, playing PUBG, and we're chatting like he's sat next to me. So it's a really cool feature. And I know the SEAL guys do a lot of broadcasting, and Gary was saying today it helps pull people into your Discord channel, and encourages people to join up and that. So yeah.
Well, hey, who knows? Again, it's the future. Speaking of being stuck in the past, Snoogans again saying they do still have a TeamSpeak that they utilize for.
Yeah, so it's still a thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, at least for him. Come on, Rob. Skype, it's the future. All right, turning the page to turn 10. They are addressing complaints about Forza Motorsport progression, AI, and race regulations. This was a Robin-related thing because we have to have something race-related, sim racing related on this podcast. So in a message co-signed by the game director and creative director, basically the studio said it has taken on board feedback about car progression, race regulations, and AI driving behavior. We know that the progression system in Forza Motorsport is a divisive topic among our players. It is clear from looking at feedback that while many of our players are enjoying the systems as is, for many others, it isn't delivering the upgrade experience they expect from Forza Motorsport. While it said addressing this feedback is a top priority for the team going to 2024, it will take some time to properly evaluate options, make the necessary code changes, and thoroughly test those code changes. So they're working on a fix, but it ain't coming anytime soon. And the studio said it's also aware that the race regulations aren't always working as they should. Examples include players receiving inconsistent and unfair penalties related to intentional and accidental collisions. Every time I hit somebody in that game, it is unintentional. I assure you. It's important that we capture all the data that we can about a race when FRR rulings happen in error. So over the next few months, we'll be working with some longtime competitive motorsport players, Robin Tate, to give direct telemetry from them while they're playing. No, Robin's not doing this actually, but I think he should. They'll be capturing these instructions and feeding the data to our team so that we can issue tweaks to make FRR more accurate and reliable. We appreciate your patience as we work to improving the systems. And then also people have complained about AI behavior, but honestly, when have we not?
Yeah.
Abrupt braking, slowing down, cars not accelerating out of exits, and drivers following race lines too closely. Are some of those complaints, which, let's be honest, that's always been the problem with AI.
I've not even downloaded or played the new Forza.
Yeah.
I've just
we'll
I've
talk about this game a little bit.
Yeah. One of the things what put me off was hearing other people playing it and saying that if you want to upgrade your cars now, put parts on and tune it up, you have to level up each car individually, and that just completely put me off.
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of an RPG feel to it in that respect.
Yeah.
But I think for car people, that's not necessarily what they wanted. Okay, we have an Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct event confirmed for January 18th. It'll be happening at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and 8 p.m. in the GMT time zone. It'll be an inside look at selections of highly anticipated games coming to the Xbox Series X and S and PC and Game Pass. The presentation won't include any updates on Activision Blizzard games, so just know that. What we are going to get, we know for sure there are 4 games. Indiana Jones, that game is going to be shown off. And so we're going to basically have more than 10 minutes of game and developer insights, including details about the game's setting, story, and how fans will actually play as Indy. Additional details these additional details will be for his next game. Avowed. Obsidian will be showing off Avowed. I'm going to kind of skip through this because, I don't think we need to get into the nitty-gritty of what they're talking about here. Ara, History Untold, and I don't remember this game, but hear from the leads at Oxide Games about this game. Okay, so this is like a Civ 5. This is going to be a total philism game. Ara, History Untold, I believe this is kind of like a Civilization-like game. And then Sensu Saga, Hellblade 2, Ninja Theory will take us behind the scenes at the studio and show off more about the game. Pretty darn sure we will get a release date on the game.
Yeah.
At the Developer Direct.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to Hellblade 2. I know Kim's looking forward to Avowed. The Indiana Jones one. Machine Games, that might be quite interesting, that.
I'm really hopeful. I think there was a leak on the name Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which people were saying, that's a horrible name. Like, it's a freaking name of a video game. it's just like a movie title. Does it matter?
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm cautiously optimistic for that game. I do like machine games, obviously.
Yeah.
Loved all the Wolfenstein games, but I always just kind of thought of Indiana Jones as being more of a third-person action game as opposed to first-person. And this, my understanding, is a blend of first-person and third-person. So we'll see.
Getting back to the Forza, Boomer in the chat has put that there's a new track coming on Tuesday. So,
Yes, I believe Daytona.
All right.
if I'm
Okay.
not
Oh,
mistaken.
Daytona. Right. Classic.
Yeah. He was also saying AI can be bullies, but I just try to drive around them.
Or if you're Greggy, you shunt them off.
Exactly. Unintentionally, Mark.
Yeah, unintentionally. Yeah.
All right. So now we're just going to kind of transition. We're just going to wrap up the show talking about 2023, kind of reflecting back on 2023 and the games that we played, kind of what stuck out to us. This could be, you could consider it your game of the year list, if you will, Mark, or it could just be, I'm not going to really list these as in order.
No, mine
but
not
just,
in order.
These are the ones that stood out to me.
Yeah, I've just got like basic notes because we don't want to drag on too long with this. But,
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Well, real fast. We're gonna throw. Kim threw up hers, and
Oh, right, okay.
We'll go through hers real fast, and we'll dismiss most of them because they're nonsense.
Do they involve cats by any chance?
At least one does.
All right, okay.
At least
Yeah.
one.
Well, that's Kim. That's Kim.
Okay, so we'll start at I'll call it the bottom, and then work our way to the top of her list. So, Party Animals. I think this is a recent discovery for her. It's fun nonsense.
Yeah.
And that fits.
It's like
It
a
fits.
mixture between Gang Beasts and Fall Guys, apparently. I think that's what it looks like to me. So yeah, it looks fun.
It does look fun, and I do think it is kind of like Gang Beasts, and again, we applaud Kim for not playing Gems of War anymore, and we encourage her with these other games. And so, all jest aside, I think this is one of those games. It's a hoot to play with a group of people, and I think this would actually be a blast to be playing like a drinking game associated with it as well. But that's just me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where this would be in her order. She has Hi-Fi Rush and Diablo 4 both on her list. And I don't know which one she liked more. She played a ton of Diablo 4. I know she also really liked Hi-Fi Rush. I think both of these games should have been over, higher rated than her game of the year. Just me, talking out loud. Because her game of the year was Stray.
Yeah.
And
no surprise there.
I know it's a cat game. That's fine, Kim. It's fine. Stray game of the year for Kim. If we had an awards, maybe we can have a pussy sound.
Meow.
No, there you go.
Well, do. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it, Mark. I don't know how you want to do this. You want to just list off yours real fast and kind of talk through them, or
So these are in no order.
Okay.
And a bit of a shout out to the Seal Podcast guys. They asked for people's top fives. They didn't say anything about putting them in order or anything. So quite a lot of us didn't put them in order. But we put in no particular order. Me, Pilch, and a few others. And then on their podcast, they say, "Oh, they're not in order. We can't rank them and all this lot." So if you want to do that in future, set some rules first. Just saying. But so God of War Ragnarok. I know it wasn't released last year in 2023, but I finished it and played most of it in 2023. Okay. Absolutely amazing game. If I had to pick one to be my top, this would be the top.
Okay.
The story, and I'm sure Pete will back me up on this. I saw Pete playing it the other day, actually, when I logged on the PS5. So he's still playing it, so I don't know if he's finished it yet. But
Pete honestly loves any game that involves a character that potentially could be a ginger.
Or like a Viking type person with gingerish hair. Yep, yeah. So it's got an amazing story, quite in depth. It's got a brilliant plot twist. I'm not going to spoil it, but the plot twist is one of those oh my god moments. It got me like that anyway. The combat's really good. A variety of weapons and combos. Top-notch visuals by the boys down at that studio. The sound is ace. It's just an amazing game. It's one of those Sony staples you just have to play if you want to Sony. Yeah. Do you want to do one, or do you want me to go through them all?
Yeah, no, we can bounce off one another back and forth. So I'll start in no particular order. I'll start with Valheim.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoy this game. There are frustrating moments to it, but I
Yeah.
mean the whole, again, kind of a Viking-like setting
Mhm.
of being in a land that you're surviving. So you're building up, you're creating, your home and resources, and then there's an underlying storyline to follow to push you. So it's not just kind of I'm trying to think of what the like Ark Survival, where it was just you're just there, right? And you're trying to survive, but you don't really have a direction or a purpose. This, I feel like they're very much, they give you purpose, they give you direction of what you're trying to do, but it's not rigid, and so you can go about kind of taking your time and just building up a life, if you will, in the land. It is challenging. It is not easy, and you definitely hit those moments of you run into baddies that will kick your ass. And this does the thing that I probably hate the most, which is where you die, your stuff is left, and so if you want to recover that, you have to go back to where you died and get your stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not. Those are some of my quibbles with the game, but overall, I enjoyed my time with Valheim, and it's still installed. I can still go back to it and just kind of pick up and play.
I actually bought this and I tried it, and I didn't really get on with it at first. I know it's had a lot of updates since. I know the Seal guys love this game,
Yeah.
so I need to revisit this. But I have this on Steam. If you ever want, have you got? Is it on Xbox as well now? Or
Yeah, it,
right,
it came
okay.
to Game Pass. Yeah,
Right, okay.
So it controls well with a gamepad.
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. What about you? What's next?
So next one on my list is Diablo 4. Just already mentioned it with Kim. Diablo 4. I love Diablo 3, the Eternal one. I had a lot of fun with Diablo 3. I picked up Diablo 2, the remastered one. That was balls hard, but I still enjoyed it. But I've got nowhere near finishing that one. But Diablo 4, I sunk a lot of time into this game, and I loved it. I loved the new Necromancer class. I thought the story and the cutscenes were really good. I liked the baddie of I can't remember her name now, with the big tit sticking out. What's her name? You know what I mean straight away, don't you? What's her name? Oh my god, I can't remember.
It's escaped me.
The mother of evil.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Lilith.
Lilith. Thank you, Kim.
There you
Lilith.
go.
Yeah, well
Kim
done,
for the rescue.
Yeah.
Lilith.
Brain
Yes.
freezer. Yeah. So I thought she was a really good bad guy, because sometimes it made you think, is she really that bad? Is she making sense here?
Well, yeah, and
Made you
I thought
question
they
it,
did a
didn't it?
really nice job with the storyline of towing the line of what's good may not be as good as you think, and what is bad may not be as bad as you think.
And then we had Lilith's father in it, Mepespo or something. Yeah, so, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
I've Diablo 4 on my list as well. I would say top 3 for me for the year for sure.
Yeah, there's 5 different classes to pick from, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my one beef.
Yeah.
I played as a fat bastard. I played the druid.
Yeah.
If I had one beef with Diablo 4, it's I wanted there to be different character creation tools. I hated that they had, like, you could customize your character, but it was limited. If you were a druid, you had to play a fat bastard of some fashion or another.
Yeah, you couldn't alter your body size and everything.
Yeah.
Like you can with a lot of games, yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my one gripe, if you will. Other than that, I really thoroughly loved Diablo 4. I loved the story. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better stories that I took in for the course of the year. So well done.
They're going to keep it going with the seasons and keep introducing changes. So we're on the second season now, which is the vampire one. And each time there's a new season, you have to roll a new character. So that is a little bit of a pain in some respects, but not all, because if you have uncovered all the area and that, you don't have to redo all that again.
Right.
And it's nice to play a different character. So I started off with the Necromancer. I loved that class. Second season, I went with the Sorcerer, which wasn't as powerful, and I had a bit of trouble with that, staying alive, but I still enjoyed it. And currently I've got a Rogue, which I know Kim likes the Rogue class, and Defoe was playing with the Rogue class, and that is really good. I like that Rogue class. So I haven't finished the seasonal campaign yet on that. I just don't no time for it at all.
Yeah.
Just no
Anecdotal
time.
side note: Diablo 4, one of the most expensive games I've ever bought.
Yeah, moving on. Moving on. Next, Greg.
All right, next game up for me. I'm going to throw War Tales out there. Again, this is one of those games. It's not my typical game that I play. It does have turn-based combat, so it has that tactics element to it. But there is this also kind of a rogue element to it, in that there's permadeath. And your characters, you're playing these characters that are kind of out into the countryside. They're kind of rogues themselves, kind of a thievery bunch, and you just are surviving. That's the best way to put it. And there is a storyline to it as well. I don't think it guides you as well on the storyline, or maybe I should put it this way. I think it ramps up in difficulty very quickly, and so it can be challenging in that respect. But I did enjoy my time with War Tales, so I wanted to throw it up there and put it on my list. But it would definitely, I think it's probably at the bottom of my list if I'm being honest, out of the 5 I have on my list.
Right.
Not that I'm ranking anything.
No.
What about you, Mark? What's next on yours?
So my next one is another PlayStation 5 exclusive, and that is Spider-Man 2.
Ah, yes.
I've not got far into it. I'm about 5 hours in. But again, Sony staple game. It's just so well put together. The voice acting, the animations for characters, it's just so good. Great action. I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. I still got this horrible cough. You play as both. You switch between Miles Morales and Peter Parker. So you got for 2 different Spider-Men, and each one's got its own abilities. So you've got double the amount of combos to remember. And my old brain can't take it. I just struggle with the combos, remembering it. That's my only gripe about it. But yeah, it's just amazing. The opening battle with Sandman. It's just unbelievable. Sandman flings Miles Morales across the whole of New York, and it's one continuous scene. It never cuts. And you get like recover, and you're swinging back to him. It's just unbelievable. It's just great how they've done that. So yeah, amazing game. I need to get more into this. Like I said, I'm not far into it.
All right. Well, no, I mean, again, Insomniac has been doing great work.
Yeah.
And now that they're, I think, it's this an interesting thing, and I'll ask you, Mark. Who do you think is top dog, no pun intended, at Sony now? Is it Insomniac or is it Naughty Dog?
Well, yeah, because Naughty Dog's cancelled their long in development version of Last of Us, their multiplayer version, and they haven't released a game since Last of Us 2. Insomniac's been kicking it, really. We're killing it, really.
Yeah, they've been crushing it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we might have taken over.
It'll be interesting because, I mean, I know The Last of Us obviously has had huge success, not just even in the game side of it, but also they've crossed over into movie, right?
Yeah. Whereas this is the other way around, isn't it? Insomniac are taking a movie character and a cartoon comic book character, and making that a game. So they're playing on a well-known character.
I mean, my guess is Sony still probably leans Naughty Dog only because they own all of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
They own the movie rights, they own the game rights, whereas with the Marvel games, they do pay a pretty hefty penny for the licensing fees on those games.
Yeah.
So, okay. What's next for me? I'm going to put Starfield next.
Yeah. I've got that on my list as well, so we can both discuss that if you want.
Yeah. Not my game of the year.
No.
Close. I really enjoy my time with Starfield. I absolutely love the shipbuilding.
That's something I've not done. It's weird, isn't it? How some people, I know Rich and Matt Nation, they've done a lot of the base building. I've not even touched any of that.
I haven't touched base building either. But the shipbuilding I absolutely love. I think this game has a lot of those different systems that can appeal to somebody. And the story, I think, is excellent. There's not a lot I don't like about the game. I will say this. I do feel some of what we had hoped or thought was kind of being promised in terms of the ship combat and stuff, or the space exploration side of it.
Yeah.
It didn't live up to, I think, the hype.
No, a lot of the ship stuff is just cutscenes, isn't it? Taking off
Right.
and landing.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the ship combat, though, the ship versus ship combat. I do enjoy that.
Once you understand the systems
Yeah.
of ship combat and,
Yeah.
and how to disable a ship and board it,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of that becomes very interesting.
Yeah, target the systems and that, yeah.
But you know, it kind of reminds me of, was it Mass Effect 2 where you were scanning the planets?
Yeah, yeah.
They have that in this game, and it just doesn't do it for me.
No.
But still, great game. Very much enjoy my time with it. I'm still playing it. There's supposedly a big update coming to this game as well.
Yeah.
So you know, it deservedly is on my list, but ironically not the top of my list. Mark, do you have anything else that is on your list?
I do, yeah. I have got. Well, I've got two more actually. Cause
Okay.
I cheated a little bit. I had
That's okay.
6 games because one of them was an honourable mention, but I've included it on this list for tonight. So, Hogwarts Legacy.
Ah, yes.
That was out earlier
Yeah.
this year. I nearly forgot about it. Pilch had it on his list, and I thought, oh my god, how can I forget about that game?
You loved this game.
It is brilliant. I was
Yeah.
so addicted to it. I played it non-stop for months. Because my nephew bought it on PS5, so I had it on the PS5, and it's so good. But graphically, it's amazing. The representation of the Hogwarts castle is just second to none. If you just compare the routes they're taking the movie and this game, it's nearly identical. It's amazing how they've done it. The characters in the game are really good. It's a prequel to when Harry Potter was there, so it's set 100 years before Harry Potter. So you've got young versions of the older professors and that. So that's quite an interesting aspect to it. There's a good storyline, and it starts off with an amazing intro where you sort of like you're attacked on the way to school with one of the professors, and it like stems from there that you have this special gift what only a very few wizards have, and you have to stop this thing happening. I won't spoil it or anything, but yeah, worth a play. There's a lot to do. The open world outside the castle is big, and then 2/3 of the way it gets even bigger. There's another area where it opens up, which I wasn't expecting. There's a lot to collect. There's you can train and collect animals and keep them in your. Do you know the hidden room in Hogwarts, the room of requirement? So you've got that, and then as you sort of like develop on, the rooms become bigger and more available, and you can keep all these exotic animals. So it incorporates a bit of the Fantastic Beasts side of the universe as well as the Harry Potter side. So it's very clever how they've done it. The wand combat, which a lot of people were worried about, is brilliant. It is really good. The number of spells you can unlock and the weapon wheel with all your spells. You can't fit all your spells in at once, obviously, because there's just that many of them. But the selection is so good, and you can mix spells to work with each other, so they have like a doubling effect. Yes.
Does the size of your wand impact how many spells you can have in it?
No, size does not matter, especially when you're a
Size
male.
does not matter. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I keep telling people this. Well, women. Well, my wife. So yeah, but yeah, it's really good. I absolutely loved it. There's a large skill tree, so it's got a lot of RPG elements. So the skill tree is really good and interesting. And yeah, a lot of interesting characters. I think I've covered most of it, really.
Yeah. You know, I think the Hogwarts Legacy is a game that, even though it was getting kind of really good preview praise, still seemed to surprise the media and the communities. It was just actually good, because I think everybody just expected it to be some kind of cash grab phone-in game, and it's not. It's a really solid, great game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that brings me to my last game, and I do have a couple mentions. They're going to be disappointment mentions, but I'll explain those when we get to it. Hi-Fi Rush. This is my game of the year.
Wow.
And I think it's my game of the year on kind of the note of it just surprised me so much.
Yeah, you did enjoy it, didn't you?
Yeah, obviously it was a shadow dropped game, and so nobody saw it coming. There was that, but for me, this is a type of game I normally don't play. But I found the combat, the fluidity of the movement just fantastic. The music's side of it in terms of incorporating it with the combat was also just excellent. And then I was just beyond pleasantly surprised at the voice acting and how well it was, and honestly, that the comedic bits hit home. They weren't. I really was also a bit fearful it was going to be very anime stupid humor, and it wasn't. It just for the most part was just really solidly well written, and I was just blown away by just how much I enjoyed this game, and it deserves just a ton of praise. And so for me, just based on the fact that it's a game I normally wouldn't like to play, or a game type I should say that I normally wouldn't like to play, and for it to have just gripped me, and I played it through to finish and enjoyed every moment of it. For me, it earns top marks on my end.
I'm getting Jet Set Radio Future vibes from it. That sort of
Very much
graphically.
So. It has a lot of that. I think you definitely should give this a try, Mark. I know you
I will
fearful of the anime aspect to it.
Yeah, the Japanese side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just surprisingly sound good, and just the visual elements too. And that's I didn't even talk about that. They pulled off that cartoon anime, but functional within a video game. It looks like it's hand drawn, but every element also has a feeling of being a 3D environment.
Yeah.
Boomer in the chat saying it does remind him of Jet Set Radio. Yeah, it definitely has some of that vibe to it for sure. Okay, Mark, what is the last game on your list?
All right, so the last game on my list is Assassin's Creed Mirage. So I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago when I first came back. I was getting not fed up, but despondent with the size of these new RPG Assassin's Creed games. So you got Origins, Valhalla, which is a better game than Origins, and then you had the other one. What was it again?
Was it Valhalla? There's
Origins and
Origins.
We did this last time, didn't we? Forgot the name of it.
No, God, yeah.
Yeah, the other one. Yeah,
the other one.
Yeah.
But all of the Assassin's Creed games have all geared towards being big open world RPGs.
Yeah, bigger and bigger, and they're like 80 to 100 hours long. Odyssey, thank you, Kim.
Kim again for the win.
Saved us, yeah. She's saving us tonight. So this is a throwback to the original first 3 games, or 4 games if you include the Revelations, which I loved. I loved these original Assassin's Creed, with some new RPG stuff from the newer games. So there's a nice mix, and the best thing is I had this done in 26 hours, which is spot on for me. So the game length is, and once you finish it, you get the credits, and it's not like the Odyssey and Origins where it just says nothing and carries on. When you finish the main story, you assassinate the last person, and it doesn't do it. It just carries on. Whereas this, you get the full credits and everything. It's got a nice end sequence cinematic, which has links to Valhalla. There is a story link there, and I won't spoil it, but yeah, it's very clever, and you think, the next game is going to be very interesting. Yeah, we're slackers, yes, Kim. Yeah, we're slackers. Good blend of the old and the new. That's what I thought. Great length.
Okay.
The combat's really good. It does throw back to the older sneaking around and stealth, which works really well for this game. I didn't mind it. I know Kim doesn't really like stealthy games, but this one, it's not a chore. It's quite nice and rewarding when you do the stealth parts of it. Graphically, like all these newer games now, they're all graphically amazing and sound good. A couple of little glitches here and there with the big Ubisoft games, but nothing to sort of like ruin the game experience. Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved this game. I'm very happy with it, and I hope the next Assassin's Creed keeps to this formula now. I hope this is the new formula for Assassin's Creed. So yeah, well done, Ubisoft.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Ubisoft, by the way, the new Prince of Persia game. I guess there's a demo.
Yeah.
And apparently
it's
being
demo?
well received.
Wow, yeah. The gameplay, the videos I've seen online, it look really good.
Yeah. Maybe Ubisoft is getting their mojo back. Speaking of Mojo, but not getting it back. So I have a couple of disappointment mentions. So one, I'm going to throw Forza Motorsport out there, and it's not because it's a bad game, and it's not because of the stuff that people were talking about. It's a disappointment for me in that I just didn't get into it.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I haven't really played it. I didn't get into it, and I want to like it, but there's something not there grabbing me.
Yeah.
And then the major disappointment was Redfall.
Yeah.
And
I actually played this to completion. I completed this.
yeah, it just I think it had so much promise to be so much better than it was.
It had a lot of problems. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it.
A lot of stuff was repetitive in it. Graphically wasn't. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't new. It wasn't new and shiny like we've just been talking about Assassin's Creed and Hogwarts.
It didn't feel like they were pushing the envelope at all.
It looks like an Xbox One game, early one at that. So yeah, exactly. It didn't push any boundaries. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it a little bit. I finished it, so I must say something. It got a bit frustrated towards the end, but yeah, it's forgettable. I forgot all about it, to be honest, until you mentioned it.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. I played it, and my time with it, I forgot. Yeah. It wasn't memorable. So
and I saw recently they did the patch for the 60 frames a second and 4K and that, and
they continue to support it, which I applaud.
But it's too late. Who cares now?
Yeah.
It's gone. It's had its bad press. I think it's.
Was it Miyamoto? I think had said you never get another chance at your first impression with a video game.
Yeah.
So
it's like can go for a lot of things, can't it?
Yeah, very much so. All right. Well, that does it for kind of thinking back. So, God of War kind of taking top marks for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi-Fi Rush for myself.
Yeah.
And
Stray
for
Kim.
Yeah. All right. We do have some new releases to talk about, Mark. Finally, the industry seems like we're over the holiday break. And so there are some games coming out, although, albeit I don't think they're going to set the world on fire, except for maybe one. Legend of Grimrock for the Switch on the 15th. Art of Rally on iOS for January 18th, so I guess we're including iOS games now. Bulletstorm VR, the VR game, January 18th. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is the one I was talking about.
I didn't know it was coming 18th. out. I didn't realize it was so soon.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Turnip Boy robs a bank, and that's pretty much on everything, including PC. And then another Code Recollection. And The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. And give me half a second, Mark. I have to excuse myself. I'll be right back.
All right. So, yeah, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. I didn't realise that was coming so soon. But, yeah, I am really excited for that. The gameplay looks amazing. Let me just pull it up. Lost Crown. Just talk amongst yourselves while I do this. Get the gameplay up. Yeah, so the old 2D Prince of Persias, they didn't look the best, but the gameplay on it was addictive, and there was a lot of difficulty there with all the traps and the enemies. And this does hark back to the original Prince of Persias, but obviously with a new graphical spin on it and new combat. It just looks so good to me, does this game? So yeah, definitely worth a pickup, I think. I wonder what pricing it'll be, if it'll be full price. That'll be interesting to find out. What else is coming out? The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. I thought it came out on PS5 as a PS5 game. Was it not a PS5? Was it a PS4 game? I don't know. That confuses me how you can remaster a game that's only just been out recently. Turnip Boy. Kim wants to see Turnip Boy. You played that Turnip Boy, didn't you, Kim? Turnip Boy. Yeah, the Commits Tax Evasion you played, didn't you, Kim? Robs a Bank. Let's have a look at the gameplay for Kim. Turnip Boy robs a bank. I'm just getting the gameplay up for Turnip Boy robs a bank for Kim because she likes the Turnip Boy games.
Okay.
I was just saying, Greg, the new Prince of Persia, you can see the old school 2D type platform in it,
right,
but the new graphics on it, it just looks so good. I wonder if that'll be a full price game. What do you think? Do you think it'll be a full £70 game?
I want to say like 40.
I hope so. I'd
But-
be happy to go hours on that, Greg, if you want to go hours on that one, because I'm very interested in that.
Let me just take a look. But yeah, no, we certainly can explore that. It might be full price. I mean, Ubisoft does like their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's full price.
Yeah.
No, I take it back. It's about $10 cheaper, so it's
Right,
a $50 game.
Right. Okay. So 25 each. That's doable, isn't it?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so.
Yeah. So I was just saying, Greg, The Last of Us Part 2 remastered. Didn't The Last of Us Part 2 actually come out on PS5? Or am I wrong? Did it come out on PS4?
I think it came out on PS4 Pro
right.
and PS4, and then they had the PS5 version.
Right. Well, how can they remaster a PS5 game on PS5? How does that work?
Well, Mark, anything to be able to sell you that. I think Sony knows their marketing,
Yeah.
and look,
June
if they could
2020.
say-
June 2020 it came out, so it'd have been PS4 Pro original, wasn't it?
yeah,
When did
But
PS5
again,
come out?
they know they can resell the same games over
Oh,
and over
yeah.
again with remastered versions.
Yeah, they do it all the time, Sony, don't they?
Yeah.
And PS5 came out
2021? 2020.
2020, November 12th, 2020. So
Yeah.
that the same year as the game. That's what
Yeah.
got me confused. Yes, Kim, I agree. Money grab.
Yeah. Well, this will,
for
of
the
course, have
players.
exclusive features, Mark, that can only be seen on the PlayStation 5.
Like what?
I don't know.
You can watch your pound notes flitter away.
Well, but I mean, if you think about it, they did that with The Last of Us. They had The Last of Us, then they had
but
The
that
Last
was
of
a
Us Pro version.
But The Last of Us was a PS3 game because I played it on
Right.
PS3 and it was my game of the generation on that console.
But again, Mark,
and
hear
then
me
they
out.
resold it on
did-
PS4, yeah. And
and
then again
they
on
resold
PS5.
it again on
And the-
PS5.
Yeah, and then they sold it again on PC.
Yeah.
So they've cashed in 3-4 times on that first game.
Yeah. Interesting note, just kind of thinking about Sony and games coming out. Helldivers 2. I'm very curious now because they did announce not just the game, but they also announced the PC specs and that it's cross-platform with PlayStation 5.
All right. Okay.
And it makes me wonder, though, because they've announced the PC specs now, is this coming day and date to PC?
Right.
That would be a first for Sony.
Yeah, it would do anyway.
So,
normally got to wait a year or two, don't you?
So I'm kind of curious as to how this plays out. And I mean, if it's on PC, that might be something I dive in on. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Mm.
Okay, Mark.
Yes.
Wednesday nights, we're still doing the Halos.
Yeah.
If you want to jump in, Lord, I'm just saying, you're welcome.
I need to get back into that, don't I?
Christopher Matthew could come in and shout at us for a while, throw some expletives, and then leave. Everybody's welcome.
I
Always.
remember playing a lot of Halo 3 ODST firefight with Chris. Oh, we
Yeah.
had such a blast then, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Friday nights.
Friday
we call
nights.
it PUBG nights, but
Well, it's shoot bang bang night. So yeah, whatever people want to play, I'm happy. I'll play whatever.
I think we just nick the Lethal Company, so Friday Night
Yeah.
Lethal Company,
Yeah.
and it could be any game.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we will just now forever be known as Lethal Company.
I'll just lethal Friday nights.
There
Friday
you go.
lethal nights. And if you're not in our Discord already, pop in our Discord. We will put a link somewhere, hopefully. If not, just message one of our podcast hosts, me or Greg or Kim or Robin, and we will get you a link. Because if you're in the Discord, we now send reminders for these play dates, and there's information on there if people prefer a certain game, so I can queue it up. Yeah, the Discord is the future.
It's like we're actually promoting things.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mark, by the way.
No worries.
And for the record, if you've gotten this far in the video, and watching us live, like us, subscribe, do that stuff.
Yeah.
You probably already have, but if you haven't yet, do it anyway. Or do what other people do, which is they unsubscribe, then they resubscribe. That always baffles me, but people love to do that. So, all right. We're at that time. We're going to do some closing notes. Mark,
Yes.
anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, all the shout-outs tonight. It's been nice and busy in the chat room again. I hope Kim gets better soon. I want to shout out the people who played with me this week on the shooters over the last 3 days, which is Rob, Gary, and Jay. And a big shout out to Martin, who was in the Discord chat Friday night, but was on his console and had his kids to sort out. And we sort of like, when we played Lethal Company, to get the full experience, you mute each other in the Discord chat, because to get the full experience, you have to have proximity chat. So when you die, you're going like, Mark, are you alive? And I'm going, no, I'm dead, but you can't hear me. So yeah, to get the full experience, you don't have a chat, you have to use proximity chat or the walkie-talkie. So we muted poor Martin, and when we came out of that game, he'd gone. So we felt a bit bad. But yeah, he said it was okay. I messaged him later. And
He messaged me as well. He said he was deeply offended.
he said,
He's
that
crying.
fucking bastard, that Yorkshire twat. Yeah. A big shout out to Joysticks and Chill, because apparently they're podcasting tonight. Shock horror. It's like me coming back. They've been away as long as I have, I think.
You're like a trendsetter, Mark.
Yeah, May 2023 was their last podcast, and I love listening to those guys. I get on really well with John and everyone, and Jay, and I wish they'd have more consistency, because it's just a good listen to. The chemistry between them guys, like John Nezzy and John Mouse. Well, he ain't John Mouse anymore, is he? Major Revenge. Jay and Hardly Dan. It's a good combination, like us. Not as good as us, but there you go. We're consistent, they're not. So a big shout out to Joysticks and Chill. Over to you, Greg. Let you take us out.
Well, I will run through I will actually give some shout outs. Kim was in the chat, GamerGirl27. We had Joysticks and Chill. We had Lord. We had Rob VTS, otherwise known as Snuggins. Snuggins. Here forward ever. We also had Boomer in the chat. We had Christopher Matthew in the chat. And I think that is it. Just go. I'm scrolling. But yeah, so shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Thank you very much for coming and hanging out and listening. And we will be back next Sunday, 12 p.m. West Coast, 8 p.m. in the UK. And if you're somewhere in between, figure it out.
Work it out.
Work it out. Figure it out. That's it. We're done. Oh, shout out to I've got a designer for our pool, Mark. Forgot to talk about this. Yeah.
Nice. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That's it. We're done. We're out of here.
All right. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Overseas Connection podcast. See you same time next week.